I find myself engrossed in this handheld screen, pleading with you to overlook any pesky formatting hiccups that may rear their heads. Preferring the shelter of anonymity, I'll reveal that I, a 27-year-old woman, have been navigating the ebbs and flows of matrimony with Jacob, a 28-year-old man, for close to 2 eventful years. However, the placid waters of our union have been stirred by a recent tempest that brewed merely 3 days ago. It all commenced with Jacob's seemingly innocuous decision to usher in a blast from his high school past, none other than Allison. Initially, I naively assumed that their reunion was a serendipitous encounter, perhaps birthed from a chance rendezvous at the bustling mall. Thus, with open arms and a gracious demeanor, I welcomed Allison into our abode, extending the hospitality befitting any seasoned hostess. Yet, as the evening unfolded, an undercurrent of unease stealthily crept into the fabric of our gathering. A subtle tension hung palpably in the air, punctuated by fleeting glances and whispered exchanges that seemed to form a secret language of their own. Allison's demeanor towards Jacob was awash with familiarity, peppered with inside jokes and a disconcerting level of physical proximity that danced on the precipice of impropriety. With each stifled laugh and casual touch, my discomfort swelled, morphing into a gnawing sense of alienation. It was as if I had unwittingly stumbled into a tableau of bygone affections, condemned to play the role of a silent spectator in their clandestine reunion. As the minutes stretched into hours, and the clock's relentless march carried us into the late hours of the night, Allison displayed no inclination towards bidding us adieu. It wasn't until the stroke of 10 p.m. that I summoned the fortitude to confront Jacob, my heart heavy with a cocktail of bewilderment and resentment. With trembling resolve, I voiced my grievances, demanding an explanation for this unsettling charade. It was then that Jacob reluctantly peeled back the layers of deception, revealing Allison's true purpose for gracing our doorstep. She wasn't a mere guest. She was a harbinger of chaos, her presence in our midst a consequence of recent misfortune, a looming specter of eviction that had stripped her of her sanctuary. And in a moment of misguided chivalry, Jacob had extended the olive branch of hospitality, offering her refuge within the confines of our shared domicile. In the wake of this revelation, a tempest of emotions raged within me, a potent blend of betrayal, indignation, and a profound sense of disillusionment. Despite Jacob's feeble attempts to assuage my fears, assuring me that Allison's stay would be fleeting, the chasm that had yawned open between us remained, casting a pall over the once rosy landscape of our marital bliss. Currently, I'm entrenched in the realm of my smartphone, beseeching your forgiveness for any formatting quirks that may arise. Preferring the veiled cloak of anonymity, allow me to divulge that I, a 27-year-old woman, have been entwined in the dance of matrimony with Jacob, a 28-year-old man, for nearly 2 years. Yet, the tranquility of our union now teeters on the edge of dissolution, all due to a recent tumult that unfurled merely 3 days past. It began innocuously enough, with Jacob extending a cordial gesture to an old acquaintance from his high school days, Allison. Initially, I welcomed her into our home with the gracious hospitality befitting a seasoned hostess, assuming her presence to be a fleeting reunion sparked by chance. But as the evening wore on, a disquieting undercurrent began to ripple through the fabric of our gathering. There was an undeniable tension between Allison and Jacob, a silent dialogue laden with unspoken history and clandestine whispers. Her demeanor towards him, infused with a familiarity that bordered on intimacy, set my senses ablaze with a cocktail of unease and apprehension. With each shared laugh and lingering touch, it felt as though I were an interloper in a private world of shared memories and lingering affections. As the night stretched on and the hour grew late, Allison showed no inclination of bidding us adieu. It wasn't until the clock struck the late hour of 10 p.m. that I mustered the courage to confront Jacob, my heart heavy with a mix of confusion and mounting concern. It was then that he reluctantly peeled back the layers of deception, revealing Allison's true purpose for gracing our doorstep. She wasn't merely seeking temporary refuge. She was a relic of Jacob's past, his former girlfriend from their senior year of high school. The revelation sent shockwaves coursing through me, casting a shadow of doubt over the foundation of our marriage. Despite Jacob's assurances that their relationship was firmly in the past, the specter of Allison's lingering affections left me grappling with a maelstrom of insecurity and doubt. I made it abundantly clear to Jacob that I was unwilling to tolerate Allison's presence in our home any longer. Yet, his response was not one of understanding or solidarity, but rather one of defiance. He refused to honor my request, insisting that his loyalty lay with Allison, not me. In the face of such betrayal, I felt a surge of righteous indignation welling within me. With trembling resolve, I gathered my belongings and made my exit, leaving behind the shattered remnants of a marriage that had once held such promise. As I stepped out into the night, the weight of Jacob's choice hung heavy on my heart, a painful reminder of the fragility of trust and the impermanence of love. Feeling a surge of frustration and betrayal, I stormed out of the house, the echo of the slamming door reverberating in the night air. To my dismay, neither Jacob nor Allison made any attempt to halt my departure, their silence a tacit confirmation of their intentions. Despite the irrationality of my actions, an inexplicable impulse drove me to linger outside, my curiosity compelling me to observe the aftermath of my exit. Peeking through the partially drawn curtains, I bore witness to a scene that ignited a fiery rage within me. Jacob and Allison, seated side by side, engaged in what appeared to be a conversation about my departure. Jacob's demeanor betrayed a palpable sense of distress, a stark contrast to the unsettling calmness radiating from Allison. Then, to my utter disbelief, Jacob laid his head upon her lap, succumbing to her touch as she tenderly stroked his hair. Fueled by a potent mix of anger and hurt, I seized my phone and captured a damning image of their intimacy. It was a moment of reckless retaliation, driven by a primal urge to inflict upon Jacob the same pain he had wrought upon me. With the incriminating evidence secured, I made my exit, opting to traverse the distance to a friend's house on foot, my mind consumed by a whirlwind of emotions. Upon reaching my friend's doorstep, I hesitated momentarily before succumbing to the urge to exact my revenge. Posting the incriminating image online with a simple caption, "Cheater," I unleashed a storm of condemnation upon Jacob and Allison, heedless of the potential consequences. However, my friend's reaction upon seeing the post served as a sobering wake-up call, a stark reminder of the gravity of my actions. As we sat together in her living room, I recounted the events that had transpired, my friend offering a voice of reason amidst the chaos of my emotions. Her admonition that I had crossed a line resonated deeply, her words piercing through the haze of my anger. Despite her understanding of my pain, she cautioned against the dangers of weaponizing personal moments for public consumption, highlighting the potential legal ramifications of my impulsive decision. In that moment of clarity, I realized the gravity of my actions and the need to confront my emotions with a semblance of composure. With a heavy heart, I grappled with the realization that my quest for vengeance had only served to perpetuate a cycle of hurt and animosity. As I reflected upon the tumultuous events of the evening, I resolved to seek solace not in retribution but in the pursuit of healing and self-discovery. Upon hearing my friend's counsel, I found myself grappling with a sobering realization. While the support from acquaintances who rallied behind me initially seemed heartening, it became apparent that their motives were far from altruistic. Rather than genuine concern for my well-being or the sanctity of my marriage, their interest lay solely in the tantalizing prospect of scandal and gossip. Embracing my friend's advice, I made the decision to disconnect from the incessant barrage of messages and distractions, opting instead to focus on self-care and finding solace amidst the chaos. With a heavy heart, I powered down my phone, seeking respite from the tumultuous storm that raged within and without. As exhaustion weighed heavily upon me, I surrendered to the embrace of sleep, hoping to find temporary refuge from the turmoil that had engulfed my life. Yet, the dawn brought with it an unexpected visitor, Jacob, waiting patiently in the living room, his presence a stark reminder of the tumultuous events that had transpired. Anticipating an apology from Jacob, I steeled myself for a confrontation, determined to stand firm in the face of his remorse. However, his words shattered my expectations, unleashing a torrent of accusation and incredulity upon me. In the midst of his tirade, Jacob revealed the devastating fallout of my impulsive actions. The image I had posted had found its way into the hands of his parents, leading to their abrupt and inexplicable estrangement. The implications of their silence reverberated through Jacob's words, casting a shadow of despair over his aspirations and plans for the future. Desperate and distraught, Jacob implored me to intercede on his behalf to retract my damning post and appease his fractured family. In his eyes, I held the key to salvaging not only his relationships but also his dreams of entrepreneurial success. Stunned into silence by the magnitude of his plea, I grappled with the weight of my responsibility in this unfolding tragedy. Despite the resentment that still simmered within me, I couldn't ignore the undeniable pain etched upon Jacob's face, nor the devastating consequences of my actions. As I stood at the precipice of a decision that would irrevocably shape the course of our lives, I knew that the time had come to confront the consequences of my impulsive choices and the profound impact they had wrought upon those I held dear. With a heavy heart and a resolve born of necessity, I braced myself for the arduous task that lay ahead, the delicate dance of reconciliation and redemption in the wake of betrayal and regret. Faced with Jacob's demands to rectify the fallout of my impulsive actions, a surge of resentment and indignation coursed through me. His audacity in expecting me to mend the rift with his parents after his own transgressions left me seething with righteous anger. Refusing to capitulate to his demands, I confronted him with the gravity of his betrayal. In response to his feeble attempts to downplay his relationship with Allison, I refused to be gaslight into submission. His accusations of insecurity and jealousy only served to fuel the flames of my indignation, as I steadfastly stood my ground, unwilling to be swayed by his manipulative tactics. As he attempted to justify his actions, I remained resolute in my conviction that his emotional entanglement with Allison had breached the boundaries of trust within our marriage. The image of him seeking solace in her arms, regardless of the circumstances, served as a damning testament to the erosion of our bond. With each passing moment, the chasm between us widened, until it became clear that reconciliation was no longer an option. Faced with the harsh reality of our irreconcilable differences, I issued the ultimatum that he depart from our home, unwilling to subject myself to further emotional turmoil. As Jacob begrudgingly acquiesced to my demands, his parting words lingered in the air, a veiled threat of further confrontation to come. Yet, despite his relentless barrage of texts imploring me to intervene on his behalf, I remained steadfast in my resolve to prioritize my own well-being above all else. Though the counsel of my friends urged me to engage with his parents and address the situation head-on, I couldn't shake the gnawing sense of betrayal that had taken root within me. The specter of Jacob's infidelity loomed large, casting a shadow of doubt over the foundation of trust upon which our marriage had once stood. In the aftermath of our tumultuous confrontation, I found solace in the sanctuary of solitude, grappling with the complex emotions that threatened to consume me. While the path forward remained uncertain, one thing was abundantly clear. I would no longer allow myself to be held captive by the wreckage of a relationship marred by deceit and betrayal. In the wake of the turmoil that has engulfed my life, I find myself ensnared in a web of conflicting emotions. The revelation of Jacob's betrayal, coupled with my own impulsive actions, has left me grappling with a profound sense of regret and heartache. While I cannot deny the gravity of Jacob's transgressions, I am compelled to confront my own missteps in this saga. The decision to post a private photograph, intended to expose the truth of his betrayal, now looms over me like a shadow of regret. In hindsight, I realize that my actions were not only a violation of privacy but also a reflection of my own pain and desperation. Yet, amidst the chaos and tumult of this ordeal, I find myself torn between a desire for retribution and a yearning for closure. The sight of Allison's continued presence in our home, a constant reminder of Jacob's infidelity, ignites a fierce fire within me. It is a visceral reminder of the betrayal that has shattered the foundation of our marriage. And yet, as much as I long to lash out in anger and resentment, I cannot ignore the pang of sorrow that gnaws at my heart. The realization that this may indeed mark the end of a once cherished union fills me with a profound sense of loss and sorrow. In the aftermath of our confrontation, I am faced with a daunting choice: to cling to the remnants of a broken relationship or to summon the courage to walk away and embrace the uncertainty of the unknown. It is a decision that weighs heavily upon me, each option fraught with its own set of challenges and consequences. As I navigate the treacherous waters of this emotional tempest, I am reminded of the resilience that lies within me. Though the road ahead may be fraught with obstacles and uncertainty, I draw strength from the knowledge that I am capable of weathering any storm. In the quiet moments of solitude, I find solace in the realization that this too shall pass. And though the scars of this betrayal may linger, I am determined to emerge from this crucible stronger and more resilient than ever before. For in the depths of despair, there lies the seed of hope, a beacon of light that illuminates the path to healing and redemption. The unraveling of a marriage, especially one built on a foundation of love and commitment, cuts deep into the core of one's being. Reflecting on the journey that led to this juncture, I find myself grappling with a profound sense of disbelief and heartache. In the early days of our courtship, Jacob's unwavering devotion and affection were palpable, a testament to the depth of his love for me. Though hesitant at first, I eventually succumbed to the allure of his affection, embracing a love that seemed destined to withstand the test of time. Little did I know that our once promising union would ultimately unravel at the seams, leaving behind a trail of shattered dreams and broken promises. As I navigate the turbulent waters of divorce, I find solace in the unwavering support of my friends and family. Their steadfast presence serves as a beacon of hope amidst the darkness that threatens to engulf me. And yet, despite their unwavering support, I cannot shake the gnawing sense of apprehension that grips my soul. The decision to file for divorce was not made lightly, and yet, in its aftermath, I find myself plagued by doubt and uncertainty. Far from feeling liberated, I am consumed by a sense of anxiety and trepidation, haunted by the unknown that lies ahead. In the midst of this emotional maelstrom, Jacob's reaction to the divorce papers serves as a stark reminder of the chasm that now divides us. His outburst, laced with anger and denial, only serves to underscore the irreconcilable differences that have driven us apart. His feeble attempts to justify his actions, to paint Allison as nothing more than a friend, fall upon deaf ears. For in the depths of my heart, I know that his betrayal runs far deeper than mere friendship. It is a betrayal of trust, of loyalty, and of the sacred vows we once exchanged. As he pleads his case, I am struck by the stark realization that our paths diverged long before the ink dried on the divorce papers. His inability to comprehend the gravity of his actions, his insistence on downplaying the significance of his relationship with Allison, serves as a sobering reminder of the irreparable damage that has been done. In the end, I am left with a singular truth, that my decision to divorce him was not born out of spite or malice, but out of a desperate desire to reclaim the shattered fragments of my own dignity and self-worth. And though the road ahead may be fraught with uncertainty, I am determined to navigate it with courage and resilience, knowing that the only way out is through. The unraveling of my marriage has brought to light a stark contrast in our priorities. In a candid conversation with Jacob, I emphasized the paramount importance of our marriage, pledging to prioritize it over any external friendships or alliances. To me, our union was sacrosanct, a sacred bond that deserved unwavering devotion and commitment. However, Jacob's dismissive attitude towards my concerns served as a harsh reality check, revealing the fault lines that had quietly eroded the foundation of our relationship. His condescending remarks about my emotional response only served to deepen the chasm between us, highlighting our fundamental differences in approach and perspective. While I remained steadfast in my conviction to uphold the sanctity of our marriage, Jacob seemed intent on trivializing the gravity of his actions and the impact they had on our relationship. As tensions escalated, Jacob's attempt to shift blame onto me only served to exacerbate the situation. His insistence that he was the victim in this narrative rang hollow, a feeble attempt to absolve himself of responsibility for the turmoil that he had wrought upon our lives. In a moment of defiance, I made the decision to confront him with the consequences of his actions, even if it meant resorting to tactics that mirrored his own. The decision to post a photograph as a means of retaliation may have been impulsive, but it served as a stark reminder of the depth of my pain and betrayal. In the aftermath of our confrontation, I found myself grappling with a mixture of emotions, anger, resentment, and a profound sense of disillusionment. Yet, amidst the chaos and turmoil, there was a glimmer of clarity, the realization that I deserved better than to be entangled in a web of deceit and betrayal. As negotiations for the settlement of our divorce unfold, I am acutely aware of the need to prioritize my own well-being and emotional healing. The revelation of Jacob's infidelity, coupled with Allison's calculated attempt to sow discord, serves as a sobering reminder of the importance of self-preservation. Though the road ahead may be fraught with uncertainty, I am determined to navigate it with courage and resilience. For in the depths of despair, there lies the opportunity for rebirth and renewal. And as I embark on this journey of self-discovery, I am filled with a sense of empowerment, knowing that I have the strength and resilience to forge a new path forward, one that is defined by authenticity, integrity, and unwavering self-love.